You will get better if you attend both. Hey guys, Steve Hanford, Lions Karate, and I want to reach out to my students. There was a bad snowstorm out of the blue on the night of our meeting for the leadership and competition team. So I wanted to explain a little bit about what we were discussing in that meeting. There's two new groups starting, a leadership and a competition team. This is different than just showing up to class and participating. This is another step towards, hey, I want to commit to competition. I want to commit to being a leader and learning about being a leader. So over the next few minutes, we'll talk about what are the requirements and what's expected, and hopefully what you'll get out of it by joining these teams. First, I want to start with the leadership team. Leadership team is to how to become a better leader, obviously, and we will discuss situations that you'll help out with class in, and you'll see when Timmy is spinning in circles, how do you handle that? My instructor used to use a bow, and he had a sparring glove on the end of it. And all the kids thought it was funny when he went up and hit Timmy, except for Timmy, because Timmy really got hit. And my instructor would hit him with the bow. You can't do that these days. So that's frowned on. So we have to talk about how to discuss it with Timmy, how to motivate Timmy, and we'll bring Ms. Trammell, Ms. Bond, Mr. Robinson in to discuss some of their situations that they've been in, how they've handled it, how they've motivated the students. We'll talk about the different way that students learn. So they can learn by seeing, by doing, or by hearing. Parents, you'll understand this. Some of you, myself included, I was able to sit through class in school, not really pay attention too close, but kind of listen and watch what they're doing up on the board, and I got straight A's. Didn't have to do much studying. There's other people that you had to study all the time, you had to pay attention, take notes, and in order to get a good grade in school, you had to do all that extra work, where some students, if I say, hey, I want you to work on this, and they might forget about it by the time they get home because they didn't write it down. Some people learn, I could say, hey, front stance low block, and somebody might be able to do a front stance low block. I could say, hey, do this, and they'd see it. And then others, I'll say, hey, do it, and then you go and fix it. So there's many different ways that people learn, and it's going to be our job during this course to help you to respond to that within seconds when you, like Ms. Trammell takes, Mr. Robinson and Ms. Trammell, and they take students into the back room and they work on their form. Well, for some students, you can say, hey, fix that backhand on step 8, and they'll do it. For others, like, what backhand and where? And you have to show. So people learn differently, and we're going to discuss about that. And then we'll learn about the stair-step to perfection method that we use for those that want to put in that extra effort. So, and that class meets once a month, and we'll talk about locations in a little bit. The next one, and you get a cool patch. Says that you're on the leadership team. It's expected that you would come to a class. We're just asking for one class a month. You'll come to one of the beginner classes, one of the novice classes. It could be the teenagers or the kids, so that you can help and put yourself into those situations. So we're going to ask you to come to one class a month and assist with teaching. So assist with teaching might mean that you have a group in the back room, might mean that you have a group in the back ring, might be that you lead part of the class, you might lead walkthroughs, hand techniques, kicks, you might lead a portion, and then during that next class, hopefully you can share with the others what went well and what kind of obstacles you had. Next, we'll talk about the competition team. Competition team is going to be offered twice a month. in order to be on a team, we feel that you have to participate with the team. So you have to attend at least one class a month, and we understand that people are busy, but you can make time for what you want to make time for, I hope. And classes are going to be, I think it's 4:30 to 5:30. So I hope that everybody can make it that wants to be a part of it. We're going to also ask that you attend a certain number of tournaments. We kind of talked about it. Mr. Robinson and I are going to go to about 22 tournaments this year. I think that's too much for you guys, but we're going to ask for 10. We thought 12 would be good, but that's one a month, and then you got Christmas in there, you got the summertime. So we're going to ask for 10, and it's any 10. It doesn't just have to be our Lions Karate 10. Make it a PKC, an MVTA, a TKA, maybe an open tournament that we go to, but you have to attend tournaments. If you're on a team, we have to do stuff as a team, and we have to go to tournaments. We thought about that because we have some students that we tried to put together this competition team about 5 years ago, and times and logistics, it just didn't all work out to make extra classes. And so we have students that are still wearing the competition team uniforms, but maybe they only attend 2 tournaments a year at our Wawasee middle school tournaments. Well, that's great, but that's not quite being part of the team and going above and beyond what most of the other students in class are doing too. They're going to the local ones, but being part of a team is a team that goes out and competes. So attend 10 tournaments throughout the year. It doesn't have to be one a month. Maybe your April's really busy and you can't make it to the Stone Tiger Challenge, but hey, you're gonna hit 2 in May or whatever it is. But we're asking for 2 tournaments. You'll also get a patch for your regular class uniform, and you can purchase the red competition team uniform, so that on sparring days, which we also do a lot of tournament practice on when it comes to sparring days, when we do that, we're working on forms, weapons, and then to sparring. So we get to work on 3 parts of tournament practice, and not just doing one certain thing and then and then spar, but working on our tournament practice in general. And you can wear your competition team uniform to that. So the classes are going to be more focused on competition improvement. In class, we can't always work on this type of stuff because we have some students that are here for a hobby, sometimes distract the class, sometimes aren't really focused. And if we were to do a little more intense drill, hey Susie, hey Timmy, come on, hey, we're doing this now, hey, we're doing this now. And we really can't get to everything that we'd like to work on if we were truly focusing for a tournament. So this will help for that at these classes. And by being part of the competition team, you're also going to get extra perks throughout the year for kind of incentives to go to certain tournaments. Of course, Stone Tiger Challenge. We're going to say, hey, competition team members get this much off of that tournament. And it's not through them, it's the competition team. The funds that are raised through that are going to go back to the competitors that go to the tournament. So let's talk about that. There will be fees for these classes. We tried to do free classes back, we did it even as recent of 3 years ago, but we've been doing them for 3 to 7 years ago. But one of the bad things, we'd have like a free weapons class on Wednesday, and we do, let's do the bow, and then the nunchuck, then the bokken, and then we'll work on the sai and the tonfa and the kama. And we'd have it all set up for like 30-minute increments. And the idea was, if you needed to work on your bow, that you would come to the bow class. And then you'd leave, because you got to work on what you needed to work on. Then there was, hey, I'm gonna need work on my tonfa. So you'd show up for the tonfa class. But over the course of the last years that we did it, there were students that would get dropped off for the bow, but they were high ranks and they didn't need work on Suisho. And they'd walk through Suisho with me and the yellow and orange belts, and then they'd be there for the nunchuck class, which they already knew the nunchuck. So they'd walk through it with me with the nunchucks, with the orange and green belts. And then same thing for the bow can. And then we'd get to the tonfa and they'd say, well, we don't do the tonfa. Okay, well, what are you gonna do for this half hour while we're working with this red belt on the tonfa? And they'd just sit back there on the phone or just twiddle their fingers or, hey, can you teach me the tonfa? That's not what the class is for. And they'd be here for 2 or 3 hours and their parents would come back and say, oh man, I'm gonna say, the pub was great, or Hacienda was awesome, or whatever the restaurant was that they went out to. And I was a free babysitter for that 2 hours or 3 hours. Or then you'd get the low rank that would come that's only supposed to do the bow, but mom wouldn't pick him up until 2 hours later when we're working on the size, and he's just been sitting there for a long time. Sorry. So that kind of got drawn out, but we've offered free classes before, and free classes turn into babysitting. So we're not going to do that again. I've tried to tell myself year after year after year, I said, hey, no more free weapons classes. And then I'd do a free weapons class, and then I'd be ticked off for a while. And then no more free weapons class, and then I'd do a free weapons class because, man, our students really need it. And the students that really needed the work didn't show up anyways because, well, they weren't committed to begin with, so why would they come to an extra class to try to learn something that they probably weren't going to practice anyways? So I want to try to start narrowing the time down and saying, hey, I want to help those that want to help themselves, but we're not going to be a babysitter. So classes, so competition team meets twice a month. It's going to be $20 for the month. If you only attend one, it's $20 a month. It's offered 2 times. You will get better if you attend both, and you should be at both if you really want to improve. Now, obviously, there's going to be doctors or vacations or something. But it's offered twice a month. It's going to be $20 a month. And also, some of that money goes back to other stuff as well. So, but it's a commitment level. The leadership's offered once a month, so it's going to be $10 a month. Locations. Right now, the North Webster Library is willing to work with us on that, on some location timing. They don't want to commit to every week because there's other groups, the Legos, the quilting, quilting's in another place, but the genealogy, and there's other groups that use the library and they don't want to have to block it off for our group. We have a place in Syracuse that can help out, and they said we could come use that area, which is great, and I think we'll take them up on that offer. We've reached out to the community center. We do want to pay for the usage. The library is offering to do it for free, but we're going to obviously donate to it. But the North Webster Community Building, that's the one by the EMS station where the ambulances are, and there's some other things in that building. We're going to be able to team up with them for once in a while, but they have a meeting that starts at 7, and those people get in at 5, and they need us out of there by 5 for their 7 o'clock meeting. So we'll honor their wishes as long as that building is still available. It's up for sale and likely to be sold soon, so we might not be there long. We talked to the community center, but they're wanting outrageous rents for hourly rent for their space that sits empty on Mondays from 3:30 to 5:30, but that's a different subject for a different day. So we're going to be blessed with where we have the relationships that we have. Syracuse is a little further away for the people that come from Warsaw. I understand. North Webster is kind of a nice meeting since that's where classes are and people are used to it. But hope to be able to have 2 classes in Syracuse and then 1 class in North Webster, and then the next month maybe flip-flop, and also offer some extra training during that 3rd week as well. So I hope that answered all the questions. So competition team, leadership team, send me an email, steve@lionskarate.com. Currently off of Facebook because got flagged for something, and then I got hacked same day within an hour. Seems a little suspicious to me, but so currently off Facebook, but text or call 574-527-5765 or send me an email, steve@lionskarate.com. Love to put this team together, see what we have to start for the first Monday in November. Classes will meet Mondays, shooting for 4:30 to 5:30. So let me know who's in with me, and we'll go have a great time. All right, take care. Bye.